Hi, my name is Sarah Evans, and I chose to talk about Cesar Chavez Road. Now, when I say Cesar Chavez, do you think of grape and lettuce boycott? Do you think of the National Farm Association? Well, both those things would be correct. Cesar Chavez is well known for his boycotts and the association, but I think the two most important things why he contributed to San Antonio is he provided better living conditions, and he was passionate about better living conditions for the migrant farm workers. And he also co-founded the Farm Workers Association, which is very huge. So he was probably considered one of the most influential person for the Mexican Americans, specifically the migrant farm workers. And he is even considered the best well-known Latino American civil rights activist. But before getting into reasons why Cesar Chavez is so significant to San Antonio, we need to first look at where he came from. I'm getting my sources from biography.com and www.sanantonio.gov. He was born in 1927 in Yuma, Arizona. His family moved to California for better living conditions, or for better work, and I hope for a better life. Cesar Chavez, he dropped out of school at 8th grade, and he fully provided for his family. And it's suspected that he dropped out of school because, first of all, the schools were segregated from Anglos to Mexicans, and he felt the segregation, and he wasn't allowed to speak Spanish, which I think was a major hindrance for him since he only spoke Spanish with his family. So he dropped out of school, and I think it was then that he experienced the hardships and inequalities that farm workers had to deal with. And at age 25, he became an organizer for a Latino civil rights group. It was then that he got his leadership skills and he got his voice, I think, as a person in power. He co-founded the Farm Workers Association, like I mentioned earlier. He co-founded it with Dolores Huerta, and I think they're well known for their boycotts against lettuce and grape growers because the the growers were using pesticides, and Cesar Chavez was like, no, that's not healthy, that's not fair for these migrant farm workers, and he organized nonviolent strikes and protests against this and against for higher wages. They had terrible plumbing services. They had to eat this terrible food, and he was passionate about having a better life for these farm workers. Um, Interesting enough, he was a vegan, and so not only did he stand for people and their rights, but he stood for animals and their rights too. So he chose to be a vegan, and I thought that was an interesting fact about him. He fought the Bracero program, which in English was called manual labor, and this is from 1942 to 1964. And this program exploited Mexican immigrants from Mexico and had them have cheap labor, and they didn't have a say so, they didn't have a right. And so if they stood for something and said, no, I want higher wages, then they would just simply be replaced by another immigrant. And so the Farm Workers Association was passionate about standing up against this, and they even had wet lines from the U.S. border to Mexico, preventing immigrants from coming over and being exploited in this. They had no rights, they had no say so, so they wanted higher wages, they couldn't do anything about it. So, not only did Cesar Chavez co found the Farm Workers Association, but he's well known for other accomplishments, such as the 1973 Oregon, they had their first 4-year university for Mexican Americans in the college, and they put it in his name, which I thought was cool. In 1973, he was awarded the Jefferson Award. In 1992, he was awarded the Payson and Terrace Award. And then after death, he died in 1993. And in 1994, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Bill Clinton, and his wife accepted that for him. Chavez was and still known for dedicating his life for racial injustices and economical discrimination. And we honor him in San Antonio by putting his name near our San Antonio universities and symbolizing the growth that we've come from, not only in our country, but our city as well. Um, Even though Cesar Chavez did not have the best education, he was passionate until the day he died about education and better living conditions for Mexican Americans, specifically migrant workers. And Cesar Chavez definitely left this world better than he found it, and his legacy still lives on today. And this is why we keep his name in our city. And I'm gonna just end on his quote. I thought it was just really cool, and he says, "If you really want to make a friend, go to someone's house and eat with them. The people who give you food give you their heart." Thank you for watching.